Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. We have with us JC Shegog, a former military. You travel the Department of Defense, training our NATO allies. You also have a podcast,
Yes, sir.
Wake Up with JT. Now, I ask you to describe this podcast. You say it's a self-help styled podcast.
Yes.
And that's kind of the thing now, self-help. What role does religion play when you're talking about self-help? When you're talking to people who are saying, I want to change something, I'm missing something. What role does religion play in that?
Most people have a particular religion that they are brought up under. And they feel that sometimes that it's not meeting the need. And they're trying to figure it out. But they don't want to abandon it. They want some type of solution to their problem. So that's when I will assist them in retrieving exactly what they want and put them on the road to their solution.
So when you take callers on this show of yours,
Yes, sir.
What do you hear from callers about church?
One of my callers called in and said, hey, I go to this particular church. I don't feel like I'm getting fed. And I asked them, well, what do you mean you don't feel like you're getting fed? Well, I feel empty when I leave. I say, well, are you in search of the inspiration, motivation, the education? What is it that you want? She said, well, I want all of that. I said, well, you want it each time you go? Yes. I said, well, your expectations might be a bit high. You need to manage the expectations. One Sunday you might get motivation. Another Sunday you might get the inspiration. Another Sunday you might get the education that you're looking for. But you find people who also are looking to be entertained. And we have to figure out if that is exactly what they want. And I believe that that's what she was wanting. She was wanting to be entertained. And in that entertainment, receive these nuggets. And I was like, well, it doesn't always come like that.
And that was what I was going to ask, essentially, is you get calls like that. How much of it is the caller's kind of responsibility? When they're saying church isn't meeting my need here or there, how much is it the caller's responsibility, do you think, or the individual's responsibility? And how much is the church?
Yeah, I'm going to say about 98% of the time it's the caller's responsibility, because they are not managing the expectations, or they are looking at something of a pretend nature, like a TV show or a movie. They say, oh, this is what I want for my church. Well, that's set up to be that way because that's entertainment. It's a movie. It's a TV show. It's not like that in real life. So we have to separate the two.
And that's why so many people, it seems like, turn to self-help. They feel like churches aren't getting them what they want, and so they go to self-help.
Yes.
Do you think that's true?
I've seen it personally. A lot of them, I've been in this church my whole life and I don't feel like I've grown. So I asked them, what direction are you want to grow? How you want to grow? What is it that you feel you're lacking? And once I find that out, I said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to work on different parts of you. That way you don't have to rely on someone else. You're going to work on those. This is your responsibility, because that preacher, he went to school, that pastor, that bishop, they went and got what they supposed to get. Now it's your turn to get what you supposed to get. And I help them in that direction.
And is that's sort of, I guess, individualized? Is that religion, or is that something else? Is that, I don't know, focusing on the self, worship of the self? Is that a good direction to be going? I mean, it's good to focus on yourself, but is it a movement? I guess, is self-help a movement away from religion, or is there room for both, or what do you think?
Normally, when people are trying to discover self, they tend to start backing away from religion. They tend to back away from religion. The individual concept that I teach is the indivisible dual the inseparable two. Your right, your left, your good, your bad, your happy, your sad, your brain, your body, your flesh, and your spirit. So once they figure the individual concept, once they figure that out, now they're able to move on to correcting what is wrong or what they feel is wrong with themselves. And some people will still hold on to their religious beliefs and say, well, I thank God that he brought me to you, or he brought you to me, and that I'm able to correct this about myself, and now I can praise God better. But a lot of people, they do move away from religion once they start figuring out, okay, it's my responsibility.
But I hate to hear that. I mean, that's unfortunate. And how does that change? Because we're in a culture now where everyone's focused on, so many people are focused on themselves, so many people are turning towards self-help. How does religion work in that world?
Religion can, it can work if, like your centers, like your churches, your mosques, your temples, if they have a way, an avenue to help the individual to be more open. Instead of just saying, do this, do that, do this, do that, you'll get better. You eventually see it. They need a little more attention. This new generation, they need more attention, and they're looking for more attention. So they tend to go to that place or that person that's going to give them that individual attention.
But the other thing is to get outside of yourself and to serve others. And churches can do a great deal to help with that. I mean, a group of people can do more than an individual.
That's right.
And so the notion, I guess, when you're talking to people in self-help, of getting out of yourself and doing something for somebody else, how much does that play into what you talk about and self-help in general, and just making you feel better?
It plays when the person realizes, okay, I have a path now. And once they discover their path, they can now reach out. Because first, if you are driving down the street in a barely functioning vehicle, you're constantly having to give it attention. Well, if you give it the attention it deserves, it'll take you where you need to go. Now you can help people along the way. Most people are driving in that barely functioning vehicle. And once they get their vehicle, the self-vehicle, straightened out, now they can go out and, like you say, reach out, because now they just reached in previously.
And why did you get started in this?
I used to be a Christian minister. I was a Muslim minister. I studied comparative religious studies in Germany, and it took me a lot of places, and I saw a lot of different things, and it put me in a mindset that there's other people out there like me. They're seeking, they're looking, they want to grow, and they don't necessarily know how. So I don't put it on the religion, I put it back on the person and how they're viewing the religion. And once I do that, then they fix themselves, and now they can be a better Christian, a better Muslim, a better Buddhist, So it has its pluses.
And how did you get this? Why a podcast? Why did you say, okay, now I'm going to do that?
One of the people that I've been assisting, they suggested a podcast, and I turned it down at first. No, I don't do nothing like that. And then I come across one of my martial arts students. I teach martial arts, and he's the owner of Brown Brother Productions. And he said, hey, you need a podcast. He said, people need to hear this. And I said, that was kind of a confirmation of what someone else told me. I said, well, let me try it. And we've been doing decent. We've been doing decent. I've been getting some good feedback. and it motivates me to do more.
And the essence of what people would take away if they listen, when that person told you, you need to do this because people need to hear this, what was the essence of what it is he feels like people need to hear?
In the application of the individual concept, there is a gardener and there's a warrior. And we spend a lot of time working on our gardener side and not our warrior side. We realize that life is a battle, and there's battles that we go through in life. So my podcast, Wake Up with JC, is the essence of life is a battle. Allow me to wake up the warrior in you, because now you can confront your problems instead of ignoring them. Because people tend to falter and or fall with the same problems over and over again. But if confronting that problem and confronting that problem properly, then it's no longer a problem. So now you can step over it, step aside, avoid it, instead of it crashing into you every so often. And now you're feeling down, you're feeling helpless, you don't know what to do next. I help raise that warrior side. Societies has helped you with the gardener side, let me help you with the warrior side, and now we're balanced.
And what are some things people should do to raise that side, the warrior side? What do you mean by that?
Not being afraid of confrontation. A lot of people are afraid of confrontation. Not being afraid of it, and you don't have to be violent in order to handle confrontation. You can handle confrontation by confronting it, realizing that's what it is, and not avoiding it, not hiding from it, or not making it someone else's problem, giving it to somebody else. It's yours, deal with it, that's gonna help you grow.
And too many people today want no part of confrontation.
They don't want no part of it.
And so what are some of the calls you've gotten? We have about a minute. I guess, what do you want people to take away? We only have a minute. What do you want people to take away?
I want everyone to know that in your life, you have the ability to handle your situation. If you don't handle it and someone else does, then you have to deal with that. You have to deal with what that other person did to you or for you. But if you deal with it, you can handle it how you want to.
Well, that makes sense. JC Shegog, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, talking about that. Thanks to all of you for watching Issues of Faith. Have a great day, everybody.